Good morning, friends. Today we will discuss the types of cooling system in the IC engines. There are various types of cooling system in the IC engine. So the first is air cooling system, then water cooling system, then oil cooling system, and then thermosiphon cooling system. Okay. So first of all, we will discuss about the air cooling system. Okay, now what is the requirement of the uh, cooling system? Why air cooling system is necessary in the IC engine? So we all know that IC engine has a 4-stroke or 2-stroke IC engines. There are mainly two types of IC engines, 4-stroke and 2-stroke, and in both the IC engine there is one power stroke in which there is a combustion takes place due to the burning of charge, and due to which a large amount of heat is generated. So it is very important, or it is very necessary to dissipate this heat into the atmosphere or to the cooling medium. Okay, so why it is necessary to dissipate the heat? So the first reason is that if the combustion chamber or the engine become very hot, then what happen? The oil film between the piston and cylinder will evaporate. Okay, and as the oil film in between the piston and cylinder is evaporate, there is a direct contact between piston rings and the cylinder block. Okay, and once there is a direct contact between the piston ring and cylinder block, there is a further increase in temperature due to friction of this ring and block, which leads to the seizing of piston. That means the block and piston will welded with each other, forming a uniform joint, forming a complete joint. That is, there is no relative motion between the cylinder and the piston, and it will form a homogeneous joint. Okay, so due to which the engine will stop working, as there is no relative motion between the piston and cylinder. So it is very necessary to dissipate the generated heat during the power stroke. Okay, at the same time, when there is a abnormal increase in the temperature of the IC engine, then what happened? There is a expansion of metal takes place. That is a piston and cylinder both will expand, and which distorts the geometry of the cylinder and piston. Okay, due to which there is also increase in friction, which leads to seizing of the engine. Okay, so for this reason there is a necessary to dissipate the heat with the help of fins in the air cooled engine. Now the figure in front of you shows the typically air cooled engine, in which there are a lot of fins as shown in here. Okay, this is the main combustion chamber where the combustion takes place, and heat is generated in the combustion chamber. Okay, here there is a main generation of heat, and what happened, this heat has to be extract out very quickly. Okay, so with the help of these fins, okay, these fins attached here, by attaching this kind of fins, what happened, we are increasing the surface area to dissipate the heat. Okay, that is larger the length of the fins, more the amount of the heat area is available for the dissipation of heat. So that heat should be dissipated to the atmospheric air with the help of convection process. Okay, heat is dissipated by the convection process. Okay, it is dissipated to the atmosphere. Okay, so all the heat generated here is first taken out by these fins, and it is conducted to the fins in the around the surface area of the fins. Okay, and it is then by the convection process, this heat is dissipated to the air, incoming draft of the air. Okay, so this process continues, and all the heat generated inside this engine is dissipated to the atmospheric air, and hence the temperature of this combustion chamber is in the controlled stage or in the controlled range. Okay, So by providing these fins, the amount of the heat generation is dissipated to the air, due to which there is no distortion of cylinder head, as well as seizing procedure of the seizing of the piston is avoided. Okay, so this is how the air cooled engine works. Okay, so this is the direction of air flow. Okay, air flows in this direction, comes in contact with the cooling fins. Okay, and by the convection process it is cooled down, that is heat is transferred to the air, and this complete engine is cooled down. Okay, so this is how the air cooled engine works. Now these air cooled engines are air cooling system is mainly employed to the engines for the smaller capacity. For example, 50cc engines up to 150 to 225 or 250cc engines. Okay, up to 250cc engines, this air cooling system is efficient also. Okay, above 250cc engine, this air cooling system is inefficient, that is this air cooling system is unable to extract the heat from the combustion chamber of the engines above 250cc. Okay, that is up till 250cc, this air cooling system is quite efficient. Okay, so after 250cc engine, this air cooling system is dropped, and instead of air cooling system we are employing the water cooling system, so that even the more heat generated due to large capacity of the engine can be easily extract out and cool down. Okay, so what are the advantages of air cooling system? First of all, there is no water pump, no circuits, external circuit, no radiator, no coolant. Okay, there is this is very simple and uncomplicated thing. Okay, there is no maintenance is required, such as in water cooling system. There is a maintenance of checking the water level in the radiator, but here there is no problem of any maintenance. As such, there is no fluid here. Okay, so here no maintenance is required. It is very light in weight. Okay, the only thing is that this air cooling system is only applicable to single cylinder engine, inline single cylinder engine. Okay, and having a cubic capacity less than 250cc. Okay, so in that case only we are employing the air cooling system. Okay, now the next type of the cooling system is water cooling system. Okay, this is typically diagram of water cooled engine. Okay, this is the engine, multi-cylinder engine, inline multi-cylinder engine. For example, this is the inline three cylinder engine. Okay, in which this is the 3-cylinder inline engine. Okay, and this has to be cooled down by the water cooling system. Okay, so this is the typically circuit diagram of water cooling system, in which around this cylinder head, what happened, around this 3-cylinder head there is a water jacket, that is water is present around the periphery of the each cylinder. Okay, so that there is a transfer of heat from this combustion chamber to the water. Okay, then this water is pumped to this radiator, which where there is a heat transfer takes place due to the convection process between the this water and incoming air. Okay, so this heated water is cooled down, and then again it is passed to the engine. Okay, so this is typically the construction of water cooling system. Okay, now why water cooling system is employed to this particular inline engine? So the thing is that if this inline 3-cylinder engine is made air cooled, then what happened, if this is the draft of air coming from left to right, if this is the draft of air coming from left to right, then what happened, cylinder number 1 is exposed to the air. Okay, first cylinder number 1 is exposed to the air, and then cylinder number 2 is back to the cylinder number 1, and cylinder number 3 is behind the cylinder number 1 and 2. So cylinder number 1 will be cooled down very efficiently as compared to cylinder number 2 and 3. So okay, so there is a uneven cooling problem in the air cooling of multi-cylinder engine. Okay, so there are possibility of chances of seizure due to increase in temperature of the piston number 3. Piston number 3 will get seized down because there is a no direct contact of air to the piston number 3, and temperature of the piston number 3 will be abnormally high as compared to piston number 1 and 2. Okay, so this is the uneven problem of uneven cooling of the multi-cylinder engine. So to avoid this problem of uneven cooling of multi-cylinder engine, we are going to develop a water cooling system. Okay, now how water cooling system works, that we will see. So this is the multi-cylinder, 3-cylinder engine. These are the 3 cylinders. Around this 3 cylinder there are water jackets in which the water is present around the periphery of each cylinder. Okay, and this is the inlet of that jacket and this is the exit of that jacket. Okay, this is a water pump driven by the crankshaft of engine, so that when the engine rotates, the crankshaft rotates, this water pump rotates. Okay, so when this water pump rotates, it will suck the water from this lower tank of the radiator here and push the water towards the water jackets of each cylinder. Okay, now what happens when the heat is generated to each and every cylinder, and when the water flows inside the water jacket, it will absorb the heat by the convection process. Okay, the heat is absorbed by this water by the convection process, and the heated water is transferred to this outlet of the outlet hose pipe through thermostat, and then to the radiator, upper tank of radiator. Okay, so in the upper tank of radiator, what happened here, there is a heated water present here, and when this water comes down through these small tubes like this. Okay, these are the very small tubes. Okay, so this water when comes to these small tubes, and when there is a draft of air like this. Okay, because of this fan, this is a fan which sucks the air. Okay, when this fan rotates, it is also connected to the crankshaft, so when this fan rotates, it sucks the air, and due to the movement of the air, this particular lines will be cooled down. Okay, due to which the water present inside of it will also cool down, and this cooled water will settle down in the lower tank. Okay, so this lower tank has a comparatively lower temperature as compared to the upper tank. Again this water is sucked and passed to this various cylinder, and this process will continue. Okay, so this is the working of water cooling system. Now what are the advantages of water cooling system? The water cooling system, the first advantage is that the very large capacity of engine can also be cooled down by the water cooling system. Okay, there is no problem of uneven cooling of each cylinder as shown here, that is this 3 cylinder, all these 3 cylinders are evenly cooled because this water is evenly passed through all the cylinders. Okay, and cooling the each and every cylinder efficiently. Okay, all these 3 cylinder will cool efficiently. So okay, and large capacity of engine can be effectively cooled down very efficiently. Okay, and another advantage is that if this engine is stationary, if it is not moving, okay, there is no air draft coming from the atmosphere, then what happens? In that case also this air cooling system is very efficient because there is a mechanical fan driven by this engine crankshaft which sucks the air mechanically. Okay, so there is this system is independent of the air draft due to atmosphere. Okay, so if there is no atmospheric air draft, then in that case this system can be efficiently worked. Okay, now what is the working of this thermostat valve? Okay, this thermostat valve is present here. Okay, that is the exact exit of the hot water, and in between the upper tank and exit of the hot water. Okay, here it is present. Now what is the function of this? Okay, now this thermostat valve it comes into action when the engine temperature is very low. Okay, suppose if the engine temperature is for suppose it is in the range of 5 degree to 6 degree Celsius. Okay, if the ambient temperature is 5 degree or 6 degree Celsius. Okay, in that case what happened, this thermostat valve restricts the flow of water from the outlet of this jacket to the upper tank of radiator. Okay, it won't allow the water to go to the upper tank of the radiator. Instead of that, it will divert the water to directly to the inlet of the water pump. Okay, that is the water pump will suck the water, and it will goes to the various cylinder, and the water will become hot, and again it will diverted back to the pump. Okay, so the loop will close like this. Okay, water will not go to the radiator. So what happened here, because of the extremely cold temperature, the engine has to be warm out very quickly to the optimum temperature. Okay, our aim is to warm out the engine at the optimum temperature as fast as possible. Okay, so for warming this engine, the thermostat won't allow the this hot water to go to the radiator to cool down. Okay, instead of that, it will diverted this hot water to the water pump by bypassing the radiator. Okay, so by doing this, what happened, the optimum temperature of the engine can be reached very quickly. Okay, so that engine will run at the optimum temperature or reach to the optimum temperature very fast. Okay, if there is no thermostat valve, then what happened, if the ambient temperature is 5 degree or 4 degree Celsius, and if there is no thermostat, then this hot water will go to the radiator and again it is cooled down. Okay, and there is the optimum temperature of the engine will not reach very quickly. That engine will not run at the optimum temperature quickly. It will take a longer time to run it to the optimum temperature. Okay, so for that purpose, the thermostat valve is given, so that engine will quickly reach to the optimum temperature, and so that efficient combustion of the charge will take place in all the cylinder. Okay, so this is the advantages of this is the working of the water cooled engine. Okay, now the figure in front of you is the oil cooling system. Okay, this is the air and oil cooling system. This particular system is air and oil cooling system. Okay, in that case, what happened, the engine capacity, if the engine capacity of the any IC engine is above 180 cc, for example, if the engine is above 180 cc or above, then in that case, what happened, instead of water cooling this engine, okay, the manufacturers provided the oil cooler, okay, to maintain the temperature of the engine. Okay, so there is air cooling also and as well as oil cooling. Okay, both the cooling system works parallel to each other to maintain the temperature of the engine. Okay, now what happened, in the oil cooling system, the oil is pumped to the heat exchanger. This is a heat exchanger. Okay, it is a parallel flow heat exchanger. Okay, in which this is the inlet, and in which from this inlet oil is passed through the various small pipes like this in the rightward direction. This is the pressurized oil. This pressurized oil will go to these small pipes, and these small pipes are connected to the very small fins. Okay, which increases the surface area of the heated of this which increases the surface area, and when because of this fan, okay, and the incoming air, draft of incoming air, and the increase in surface area, what happened, there is a heat transfer takes place due to convection process. Okay, and all the heat absorbed by this oil is transferred to the air by this convection process, and this oil is cooled down. This cooled oil is again passed through the sump of the engine. Okay, it is again deviated to the sump of the engine. Okay, so due to which the heated oil is cooled down. Okay, the oil is heated because the oil already passed to this combustion chamber for the lubrication process. Okay, we all know that the oil circulate to the piston cylinder for the lubrication process. Okay, and again it is settled down, which increases the temperature of the oil, and by this process the temperature of the oil is controlled or cooled down. Oil is cooled down. At the same time, there are these are the fins are also present around the head of the engine. Okay, and these fins are also attached to the head of the engine, which further reduces the temperature of the head by the convection process due to air cooling. Okay, so this is the air cooling of the head of the engine, as well as this is the air cooling of the oil of the engine. Okay, so by these two process, the temperature of the engine, high capacity single cylinder engine can be very well maintained. Okay, now what is the advantages of this particular type of the cooling system? Okay, so the advantage is that there is a no water jackets. The manufacturing cost of the engine is very is low as compared to the water cooling system. Okay, because the water cooling system has a special water jackets provided to the head of the head and cylinder of the engine, which increase the manufacturing cost. At the same time, there is a no water cooling engine has a separate pump, pulleys, okay, radiator, coolant. All these accessories are attached to the water cooling system, which increases the weight of the engine as well as cost of the engine. So to avoid this all this stuff, this oil cooling system is much cheaper and much reliable. At the same time, low almost zero maintenance is required to this particular type of setup. Okay, so this oil cooling system is provided to the engine which are the in the higher capacity side, such as 180 cc plus 180 to 250 cc engines. This oil air cooling system is employed. Okay, now this is the thermosiphon cooling system. Okay, this is the last type of the cooling system. Okay, so this is what we call as a thermosiphon cooling system. This cooling system is employed to the commercial engines, commercial low RPM engines, such as the agricultural engine, or what we say construction site engines, okay, or diesel generators. Okay, this type of the thermosiphon cooling system is used because this is a low RPM engine, is running at the low RPM. Okay, now how it works? So this thermosiphon engine construction is like this. This is the fan, and this is the crank connected to the crankshaft. So this fan rotates when the crankshaft rotates, and this is the water jacket, okay, around the cylinders of the engine. Okay, so in thermosiphon system there is a no water pump present here. Okay, as shown in this figure, there is a no water pump. Okay, there is only a heat exchanger or radiator. Okay, and this radiator has a upper hose pipe and a lower hose pipe. Okay, this is the upper tank and lower tank, and these are the radiator pipes. Okay, so this complete diagram shows the construction of the thermosiphon cooling system. Okay, and in thermosiphon cooling system, what happened, the water is filled into this complete system till the brim of this radiator. Here completely water is filled here up to this mark. Okay, now what happened, this system is completely filled by water. Now what happened, when this engine starts, okay, when it starts working, what happened, the temperature of the engine is increases, okay, due to the combustion of fuel. That is the temperature of water around the cylinders of each around each cylinder will goes on increasing. Okay, so the temperature of the water here in the around the engine will goes on increasing. So as the temperature of the water around the cylinder is increased, then what happened, the density of that water is reduced. Okay, so as the density of this water is reduced because of the increase in temperature, then what happened, this water will move in the upward direction to the upper tank of the radiator. Okay, and as this water moves in the upward direction, the cold water present in the lower will take place of the of this water where it moves in the upward direction. That is the water which moves in the upward direction, the position of that water will take by the water in the lower tank. Okay, and when the water from the lower tank is moved in this position, that is around the cylinder, it is again get heated and move to the upward side because of the lower density. Okay, and as the water moves in the upward tank, again the water which is cooled in the lower tank will push to the into this vacant area. Okay, because the water present here will already move to the upward side of the radiator. Okay, and so this process will continue. Okay, this process is continue, and this is called as a thermosiphon cooling system. Okay, so as this water moves upward, here it will in the upper tank it will collected here, that is it, the water, hot water will accumulated in the upper tank. Okay, and what happen, gradually this hot water will move to the downward through the small pipes as shown in figure. Okay, and as the water moves through the small pipes, and when the because of this fan, okay, when this fan rotates, it will sucks the atmospheric air here. Okay, and there is a exchange of heat because of the convection process between the atmospheric air and the surface area. Okay, so heat is transmitted by the convection process to the atmospheric air, and this pipes will cool down, which cools the inside fluid, and this cooled water is present in the lower tank. Okay, now this water has a higher density as compared to the water present in the upper tank. Okay, so this higher density water will again move to the inside the engine. Okay, again it is heated here, its density will reduce, and again it will move in the upward tank, again it will move down, again it is cooled down, again its density increase, and again this high density water will move here. Okay, so this process will continue. Okay, so this is the thermosiphon cooling system. Okay, it doesn't require any water pump, any thermostat. Okay, it doesn't require any accessories, only one radiator and inlet and outlet hose. Okay, so this is the simple type of the water cooling system. This is employed to the engine of the low RPM engine, agricultural engine, where the cost is very important. Okay? Lowering the cost is very important, as well as low maintenance. Okay, so in that so by this the thermosiphon cooling system works. So these are all the cooling systems available in the IC engines. Okay, so if you have any problems or if you have any suggestions, please comment me, and then I will help, or I will discuss the further comments. Thank you.